You ever notice that the people with the most power over your daily life are the ones that nobody can name? Ask someone who runs the country, they'll probably say the president. Ask someone who runs Texas, they'll probably say the governor. But ask who decides where your roads go, how your neighborhood grows, and how your local taxes get spent, and most people will stare at you like you just asked them to name the third bass player for Nickelback. That would be your county commissioners. And in Denton County, a county of more than 1 million people, the person helping to run the place might ultimately be chosen by a voting group that's so small it could lose a game of dodgeball to a Costco parking lot. Because after the Republican primary last week, the top two finishers, David Wiley and Valerie Roars, are headed to a May runoff. And historically, runoffs attract about as many voters as a Tuesday night HOA meeting about mailbox colors. So let's break down how county government actually works. Because people hear county commissioner and think it's like the assistant manager of potholes. No. In Texas, counties operate under a structure called the commissioner's court system, which is made up of 4 commissioners, each representing a precinct, and 1 county judge. Now, despite the name, it's not really a court. It's the county governing board. They decide things like county budgets, infrastructure spending, major transportation projects, emergency services funding, and development planning. And in a fast-growing county like Denton, those decisions shape traffic, growth, housing, and taxes for decades. But the candidates for those offices usually come through party primaries. Sure, elections are held, but the primary elections are still party-only contests, which means that they filter out most of the candidates before most residents even get to vote. Translation: the largest political decisions for Denton County may be shaped by the smallest number of voters. That's why a Libertarian candidate often runs on a very simple platform: reduce centralized control, increase citizen oversight, and make sure every resident's voice counts, not just the 5% of residents who vote in a primary. We Libertarians present common sense reforms like nonpartisan elections, ranked choice voting, and citizen oversight boards, not because they're trendy, but because they expand who actually participates. So while most political coverage focuses on Washington or Austin, the government most directly shaping your daily life might be a board of 5 people that most residents couldn't pick out of a Chili's waiting area. This isn't about which candidate wins the runoff. It's about the structure. Because the bigger question is this: why should 4 commissioners and 1 county judge decide how more than 1 million Denton County residents build, grow, and spend, when the system that selects them only engages a tiny slice of the population? So while I sound like just another cranky libertarian screaming at a brick wall, there are some real common sense reforms that could change the entire system, and I think they deserve repeating. Things like nonpartisan elections for county commissioners to remove the gatekeeping power of the party primaries. Citizen oversight boards that empower residents to review and approve zoning and budget decisions. Ranked choice, or broader, voting reforms to make sure low turnout elections don't monopolize control. If Texas truly believes in local control, then local government should actually represent the whole community, not just whichever political network shows up to a low turnout primary. Because local control shouldn't mean a rule by a tiny political class. It should mean a system where the people who live here actually have a meaningful say in how their county is run. And right now, we're a long way from that. So the next time you see headlines about the Denton County runoff election, remember, the real story isn't just who wins. It's how few people get to decide. Real reform isn't about picking the lesser of 2 disappointments. It's about a structural change that returns power to the people. Because if local government is supposed to belong to the people, maybe it's time more of the people actually had a seat at the table.